Well, Sean Lennon with PWE Report. We are from Chicago, and right now we are welcoming independent women's professional wrestler, your hero, Airica Demia, on PWE Report. And we're excited because she will be joining us at Uprising 3 and Dreamwave Wrestling this weekend. Both events are sold out happening in LaSalle, Illinois. And the first match he has announced is she and Alejandra Lion will be facing the Hale Twins. The next night, Dreamwave, those summer nights, her opponent will, for now, be to be determined. And then we have her listed as Hooligan Pro Wrestling. She'll be facing Madi Monarch in Evansville, Indiana. And make sure to check that out as well. And her previous match there, she wrestled Masha Slamovich, current TNA Wrestler as well. And we've seen her at ROH and NWA. So excited to get into this. And Airica, how are you doing? Welcome back on PWE.
I am doing very okay. Been a very exhausting couple of months, but everything is worth it. It's fantastic. I have a cup of coffee, so hopefully I'll be a little bit more awake soon.
Okay, no worries. Hopefully the Java will kick in, and we're excited to talk to you because if anybody's been following your career, what you did at the Palmetto Wrestling Academy was documented on your YouTube channel, and we can find you got little small video clips and content that comes out on your social media. Of course, your father's Legend of Solar, he'll be on there as well, and it's some fun content to see dynamic between you both as well. And my question was, is Legend of Solar join us in LaSalle, Illinois?
Unfortunately, he will not be.
Okay.
It's just gonna be me this time. But I will be probably FaceTiming him several times throughout the trip because I've never traveled by myself before. I'm a little nervous, but I'm still excited. But
okay, for sure. I hope you're getting all the rest you need, because I can only imagine what that drive would be like.
Fortunately, I actually get to fly this time, so
okay.
It shouldn't be too exhausting, but it's an early flight. It's like 6:15 a.m. and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be sleeping before that one.
Definitely. And you'll still have a 2-hour road trip to get to LaSalle from the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that's worked out for you. That's exciting news. I mean, obviously, what do you know about Uprising and Dreamwave? Have you watched their events before? Who are you familiar with there?
I am fairly familiar with it. I know that Maggie Lee is current champion and that Brittany Brooks used to be the champion, but Brittany Brooks is unfortunately injured right now, and that really sucks. Wishing her a very quick recovery. She's a sweetheart. I love Brittany Brooks.
Yes.
I think I've only met Maggie Lee once. And Maggie Lee is Maggie Lee. But yeah, I'm not super familiar with the entire roster, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting to meet everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's great. How excited were you that you're going to be there for both nights, not just Uprising?
I'm very, very excited. They reached out and they were like, hey, we want you to stay for this extra day. I was like, okay, I will not turn that down. I'll do whatever you ask. Thank you.
Approximately how much driving are you doing in a weekend when you do have to go to out of state for different shows? I assume this is more comfortable for you.
So if depends on where we have to go. So I wrestled in Maine recently, and that was like an 18-hour drive. Getting there was okay. Going back home, we couldn't drive for more than 2 hours at a time. We were not happy. It was not a good day.
Wow. That's a lot of travel. Oh my goodness. I hope it was worth it though.
It was worth it, definitely.
Okay.
I love seeing new states anyway, so.
Well, you'll definitely get to come to Illinois. It's not too far different from Indiana. There's a big city called Chicago, who I'm sure you're familiar with. So hopefully you get a
Yes.
chance to see that one day. LaSalle's a bit far from that, but yeah, I'm sure you've kind of like heard about the Chicago wrestling scene, but not quite, not quite dipped your toes into it yet, right? Or even thought
Not
about it.
yet. I've heard a little bit. Oops, I dropped something. I've heard a little bit about it, but this is my first time going to Illinois, period. So I'm very, very excited. I think they're flying me to the Chicago airport.
Mhm.
So that's cool. I might get to see something at least.
Right.
Maybe if I'm like maybe just in the air. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so because I have a friend or two that are from Chicago, so they talk about it a lot, and I'm like, I'm really excited to see this. So yeah.
How's the social media reception been since you were announced? It seems like you have fans all over the country now. So how has that been?
It's pretty wild if I'm being honest. Definitely takes some getting used to. Like sometimes I'll have people reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm from Ohio." And I'm like, "I've never wrestled in Ohio. How do you
Wow.
know who I am?" That's just a random state. I don't know if I have anybody from Ohio that knows me, but if you're from Ohio, hello.
Nice. For sure. And then my next question was, how do you measure the success, your success of pro wrestling? Is it the matches? In your mind, is it the bigger crowds, the reactions, or the reception after?
Um, that's kind of a hard question. I guess it's my biggest success is when I feel like I've actually done my job of being a hero with for lack of better phrasing. If I have a kid or even an adult that comes up to me and is like, "Hey, you did amazing. You're literally my favorite. How do I follow you on Instagram?" Or "Can I buy a t-shirt to remember you forever?" Then I feel like I've really done my job and like that's what I want. I want to inspire people and I want like I know how self-conscious of a person I am, even having like come so far from being a self-conscious 14-year-old to being more confident now. I'm still a very self-conscious person and I want to make people feel like they don't have to be. You know what I mean? Because I know how much it
Yeah.
sucks. I want people to feel confident and if I can be a representation of forcing yourself to be confident, I'm all for it.
That's awesome. Definitely. And then the last year, we kind of touched on this a bit. Has been very busy for you. So you visit many different states, East Coast and West Coast. How's that experience like? And then taking time from the friends and family and your community to go to these places. I'm sure they're 100 behind you 100%, but it's tough, right?
It can be very tough. I don't have a lot of friends outside of wrestling, so I don't really have to worry about that. Most of my friends are
Okay.
wrestlers. They're like, "Hey, we get it. You're good. Be what it be." Um, it's mostly my family that I have to worry about, not like my mom or dad or anything, because they're either usually with me or they're just like, "Hey, go do your thing." It's more like my aunts and uncles and grandparents and all of that. Like they support me. It's just like they don't understand, they're like used to people working 9 to 5s and all that and I'm kind of breaking it and they're like, "This is weird, but good for you." You know what I mean?
Mhm. Right. Definitely. Well, hopefully they'll come to see you one day.
I did have my grandmother in the at the Indiana show where I wrestled Masha. Her my grandpa and my grandma drove up there to watch me, and I was like, why y'all coming to Indiana?" Like, I've wrestled in North Carolina. You can watch me in North Carolina. Why are you
Right.
driving to Indiana? It was very wild. Yes.
That's great, though. That was a huge match for you as well with Masha Slamovich. Can you talk about that? How was the because their original opponent was unavailable, and then gained that opportunity to headline with a veteran like her. just hearing that news, what was the emotions and the nerves like?
My first thought was, oh my God, they're trying to kill me. But like as I got closer to it, I was really, really nervous. I was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna mess everything up. I'm out of my mind. I don't deserve to be in the ring with someone like her. And then I had the match and I was like, I'm way better than I thought I was. I was able to hang with Masha Slamovich. That's wild in and of itself. But then to have her tell me she would love to wrestle me again is also freaking wild. And then it's very, very validating. And it's very wild working with someone who is, like you said, such a vet and just so professional. And it was amazing. It's probably my best match to date, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
And I really hope I get to wrestle her again sometime soon.
That's awesome. They can check it out on IWTV. It was a fantastic showing between you and her. Hopefully it'll get you noticed. I also have to talk about the Uprising 3, and in particular the match. But before that, the all-women's promotion, like when you heard of Uprising happening, how did this come about, and what's that reaction like? That this is going to be your first show in Illinois. It's going to be an all-women show, and it's pretty much out there all over. It's on IWTV Live, big platform.
So I found out through Uprising through Dreamwave, or found out about Uprising through Dreamwave. And I ended up reaching out to the Dreamwave page, and it took them a little bit to get back to me, but they got back to me. They were like, "Hey, send me some info and we'll talk soon." And I was like, "Okay, that's promising." And I'm very excited that this is going to be my first show in Illinois because it is, from what I can tell, it's a fairly big platform in Illinois. So it's like I'm gonna pat myself on the back just a little bit there, not too much, just a little bit, just
Sure.
a little bit.
Definitely. Now your match hasn't been announced. It's going to be you and Alejandra Lion taking on the Hale Twins. So now you've seen their previous matches. You know about their nefarious ways. They don't fight fear. So how do you plan on defeating them? How do you plan on making sure they don't cheat you out of this one? You and Alejandra.
Hold on, just 1 second.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, I feel like the best thing I can do is just study up as much as I can. I always study, but for people who tend to cheat, I feel like I just got to put in a little bit more effort. Take notes, take the notes with me, read over all of it, and just prepare myself as much as I can.
Definitely. Yeah, they are constantly in chatter with the referees, as you've seen. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to get around the referee thing, but I'm sure I'll figure something out.
Definitely. And then how confident are you in your partner, Alejandra Lion?
From what I've seen, she is very, very talented. So I'm very confident that we're going to do a great job.
Definitely. And then, Dreamwave Wrestling, the next night will have professional wrestling, major names like Mustapha Ali, DanHausen, Minoro Suzuki. How excited to be on this card with all of them?
Pretty excited. I'm very nervous. I've met one of three of those. I've met Minoro Suzuki. I highly doubt he's going to remember me. I met him a few years ago at a PWX show in Concord, North Carolina. I met him there, and he was a very cool human being. Didn't speak a lot of English, but just enough to where you could he's just to know he's a cool person.
Definitely. Well, now if he sees your character, your persona, maybe he'll recognize from My Hero.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Academia. So that'd be cool if he would recognize you from that. You had some TV matches, ROH, NWA. So being a small part of that scale of production, what do you remember the most?
Mostly just how shockingly laid back it tended to be. A lot of people would think that everybody's like running around with like chickens with their heads cut off, but not okay. A few people are like that, and those are like they're not really few and far between, but
Right.
it happens less than you'd think it would, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. I would imagine that you'd love to get the opportunity to be part of either promotion one day. So how excited would that be for you?
That would be very exciting. I will take a contract anywhere that I can.
Definitely. And then you've had like matches, you know, that are pretty big, right? They're featured on IWTV already. You've got you know, matches like Beyond on the East Coast. You were part of their Thursday Open special, and so how cool is that to be on these platforms?
That was very cool. Me and my dad have been watching Beyond Wrestling shows since 2020 because we had nothing else to do. That's how we found Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander. And then they went with WWE or not WWE, AEW, and we were like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So yeah. 2019. Just kidding. It was 2019, not 2020.
Okay.
My dad's sitting over there.
Oh, nice. Well, tell him we say what's up here at PWE.
He's waving. You can't hear.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. And then so yeah, talk about your father. You and him have teamed up before. How formidable have you both become together as a team? Like from when it first started till now. Like how much more comfortable, how much are you able to read or play off of each other from, you know, from when it first started, it may not have been quite as smooth, right?
Yeah, well, especially since I was like 14 and I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing yet.
Right.
Things have definitely gotten a lot smoother, and he's always been good at just doing his thing, but I'm getting a lot better at like going along with it and we're playing off each other, you know. Just I've more gotten better because I sucked. He's never sucked. I used to suck, but I was 14. How good could I have been? Shush. My dad said I didn't suck, but I feel like I did. But that's also bias against myself, as people tend to have. But I've gotten better.
That's cool. Is there like a dream tag team match you'd like to have?
Motor City Machine Guns.
Okay.
My dad's favorite wrestler is Alex Shelley.
I'm not.
He said, I'm not doing that match. He doesn't think he can keep up.
I won't. Oh.
You shush. I have faith in you.
No, I won't.
He's denying it.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything's possible, right?
Indeed.
And then you also had this match with Cosmic out in New York. And so when you had that opportunity to go out there, how exciting is that for you with Battle Club Pro and making those appearances on the East Coast?
That was also very exciting. I've been following Cosmic for a long time because we're both green-haired anime girls. Like, why wouldn't we be following each other?
Nice.
But we're just literally on complete opposites of the freaking country, pretty much. So it took too long for us to officially meet. But that was my first match I ever have had in New York. So that was really cool. And New York was on my wrestling bucket list. So I got to cross that off and I was really happy about that. On top of that, it was at the Brooklyn Comic-Con. So that was dope too.
Nice. That all goes hand in hand, right? I feel like pro wrestling and Comic-Cons and video games, right?
Yup. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you ever think about creating yourself in one of those games? Has anybody created you in the WWE 2K games, or is that never something?
I think a few people have.
Okay.
If they have, I've definitely shared it somewhere on my story. I was gonna go look for it, but that's gonna take at least an hour for me to find them. So I'm not even gonna try on that one.
And then, talk about you're noted. I've seen you talk about Will Ospreay a lot. So you draw inspiration from him, but who else in pro wrestling today do you draw inspiration from?
Today, I don't really know. For myself, I'm more draw inspiration from anime and video games and my dad. And my trainer, Ethan Case, I draw a lot of inspiration from him too. When I was a kid, a lot of things that I wanted to wow, it just got really dark in here.
Yeah,
A lot of things that I wanted to do would probably have been based off of Bailey, Sami Zayn, or Johnny Gargano.
nice.
Yes. Initially, when I got my very first, my first 2 sets of gear, when I first got those, they were inspired by Bailey because I was wearing long tights and like a normal top. Because most girls do a normal top and then shorts, or like, I don't know what else to call it, but like the ones that are kind of like shorts, but they're not shorts. I don't know. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn on my flashlight because it just got really dark. Oh wow, I look really pasty now. It's
You're fine.
fine.
So, women's professional wrestling has never been hotter. Like, talk about being a contributor to women's professional wrestling. Why do you think the industry has changed for the better now that more women have, come breaking down that door and, or knock down that door and cross boundaries and all that?
I'd say it's definitely better now because there's a lot more women who are willing to put in work. Like, I'm not saying that women didn't used to put in work, but I think that so many people are, like, women are driven now that it's like, oh, we can't get away with the same crap that we used to get away with. Like, for instance, the freaking bra and panties matches. I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
They made a lot of money doing it, and I'm really happy that they were able to do that. But there's no way that all of them were completely 100% comfortable doing it, like, constantly. It's nice to be seen as a competitor and as an athlete rather than as just eye candy. Thank you. I was searching for words, and I was like,
Right.
I'm reaching at nothing, but my dad said just eye candy, so that helps. And it's equality is nice. Even though some women still get treated kind of and a lot of guys are like, I will not wrestle a woman. And I'm like, okay, but that woman over there could probably really hurt you for real, right? Like, there are certain women in this business that can literally break your arm in 2 seconds. And
Right.
And my dad said, if they can't break your arm, they can outwork you. So
yes,
that's how it be.
And I know out of your school, go ahead, sir.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
No, I say out of your school that you were the first woman to ever go through your school and graduate. Will you think there'll be other women one day? Other young girls?
Actually, we had a girl graduate recently. Her name is Joya Blake, or Dirty J. She is fantastic. She just had her 3rd match this past weekend. And I'm really proud that she was actually able to get through it, because it is a very, very grueling system, because we're trained like men, and a lot of the times in that, the guys have to get used to working with the girls, and we get treated different, and it's really, really frustrating. And Ethan does not just pass anybody. He's like, hey, if you go out there and you make me look bad, we have a problem. So you have to be 100% ready when you graduate. You will not graduate before I think you're ready. You will not be smudging my name like that.
Right.
That's just the kind of person he is. I'm making him sound like he's a jerk. He's not at all. I'm like, wait a minute. He just doesn't let people
Sure.
make him look bad because he's worked so hard to prove that he's good and that he's a good teacher, and one person messing that up is just not gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely. No, that definitely makes sense. And I really appreciate you telling me all about that. Who are some first time opponents that you're gonna be having coming up that you can mention that you're excited to wrestle? Any?
Let me look through my calendar real quick and I
Sure.
will let you know. Let's see. First time opponents?
Yes.
Obviously, I'm ready. I'm really looking forward to Uprising and Dreamwave. Don't know who I'm working on Dreamwave, but I'm looking forward to tagging with my partner and looking forward to wrestling the Hale Twins. Let's see. I'm definitely also looking forward to wrestling Madi Monarch because I've watched some of her stuff and I think we're gonna have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't know if I have any set opponents.
Not new,
Mm-mm.
but not new.
Not any new first time opponents. The next show that I have where I have a new, no, just kidding. I was gonna say a new opponent, but okay, so the next time I have a set opponent, I will be working La Brava Escobar for a third time at XIW,
Nice.
and then I will be working Stan Styles a second time in a last person standing match after that. And then after that, I don't have any set opponents. Oh wait, just kidding. I will be working Leah Knight in North Carolina on September 7th. That'll be a first time match. That is a first time.
Nice.
I didn't see that one in my calendar because there's a messenger bubble that was covering it. Whoopsie. I am really looking forward to having a match with her though. We've been around each other in locker rooms like a bunch recently, and we're like, we still haven't had a match together. So as far as I'm aware, she's also looking forward to it, but I'm very excited.
For sure. And you and Stan Styles, seems like that's going to be a clash. Like that's going to be a rivalry, right?
You're dang right. Man, that guy's a weirdo.
Awesome. And then when you started till now, can you talk about your journey of fulfillment as a professional wrestler? And how would you define it?
I don't really know. I mean, I am very proud of how far I've come because when I was 14, I never would have thought that I would have already had a match in Ring of Honor. Never would have expected that to happen. Never would have expected to be an NWA or anything like that. So I can't say I'm proud of myself, but the work's not over. The work's never over. So
okay. Definitely. Well, I appreciate you being on PWE Report. Best of luck because we can't wait to be there. Uprising 3, of course, this Friday night, and Dreamwave is this Saturday night. Both shows are sold out. Only way to watch it, IWTV Live. And my hero, Airica Demia, we appreciate you being on PWE. And if you have any merchandise or anything to plug or social media, go ahead.
If you search my name on Google, just Airica Demia, like how it's spelled, right there. Just put that into Google and you'll find me because that's the easiest way to do everything because my username is different on everything. The only place I have t-shirts is Pro Wrestling Tees. The other ones are fake. Don't buy those. Subscribe to my Patreon, please. I could use the support because gas is expensive.
Yes. That was a cute plug right there. So yeah, and I appreciate you being on PWE, and we'll see you out there this weekend. And before you go, can you do a quick shout out for my podcast? I'll stop this recording and I'll start a new one. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
Right.